Hey everyone, it's Felicia and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. Come on in, have a seat, get comfortable. How you doing? So in today's video, I will be discussing with you what it's like to be on the base honor guard and my craziest honor guard story time. So if you are ready, let's hop right into this video. So at each base in the Air Force, there are designated airmen who are assigned special duty to do base honor guard. I'm going to read to you what it says on the Air Force Honor Guard website that base honor guard is so that you know verbatim. The Base Honor Guard training program standardizes ceremonies and the manner in which they are performed from base to base across the Air Force. The program provides detailed instructions on key areas such as manuals, uniforms, history and traditions, and a variety of ceremonies. So, the Base Honor Guard covers funeral details. They do certain retirements and events that are happening on base where you need the flag brought in and put up and things like that. So that would be called the drill and ceremony portion. So really it's just, I would say the two areas that you will cover when you are on honor guard would be the funeral details and the drill and ceremonies. Now, I was on the base honor guard for Joint Base San Antonio. So we covered San Antonio and I think about like up to 300-mile radius outside of San Antonio for Air Force retirees and veterans. So with funerals, we either had two-man teams, which meant that the deceased individual was a veteran, or we had seven-man details, which meant that the deceased was a retiree and they got full military honors when it came to their funeral. Now, when an individual passes away, the funeral home will reach out to the base honor guard in the area and set up the arrangements to have a detail, is what we were called, which is just a team of either 2 or 7 to come out and perform military honors for the individual. Now, there is a time where there would be, I believe it's a 14-man team, and that was if an active duty individual passed away, which, is very unfortunate because we would like to think that most times when we were rendering these honors, it was for, an older individual that just, life expectancy and that they just pass away like that. So having to do a full honors for an active duty individual was kind of heartbreaking because, it makes you think like this person had, a lot of life left, but it was such an honor to be able to be assigned to do funeral details because you are showing your respect for those who have gone before you and those who have worn the uniform that you currently wear. So it was definitely a very unique time. There was never a time that we left the funeral that I didn't cry a little bit because, it was like, dang, it can be like a lot, but we also made sure that we took the time to decompress, get some food that made us feel better, connect with your team and things like that. So when you are assigned to base honor guard, you do go through training. And you go through training and like a graduation. Once you graduate the training, you are considered a guardsman. So you are then able to go out and render the honors or do drill and ceremony for events based on where you are assigned. And it is definitely, like I said, a very unique opportunity, and one that I am thankful that I had the chance to do. So during the training, you are taught how to carry a casket in, you're taught how to fold an American flag, you're taught how to provide the drilling ceremony for whether you carrying the Air Force flag or the United States flag, American flag. You are able to make sure that you are standard across the board. And it's definitely a very intense training, especially when you are learning, how to carry a casket, because you don't really realize that caskets, I mean, of course, caskets are heavy, they have people in them, but you just don't really, it's something that I didn't think about before I was assigned to Honor Guard. So we did a lot of time learning how to properly wear the guardsman uniform, because there are a lot of moving pieces on the uniform. And we learned how to do the presenting the rifles, playing taps, playing taps, playing taps, because actually just press a button and you hold it. But it takes work to be able to do that. You learn the different type of marching that you have to do and things of that nature. So you also really get to bond with the individuals that are in your training group, because these are the people that you will be doing all these military honors with as well. So depending on what base you're at, I think different bases have different amount of times that they do Honor Guard for. Sometimes you're there for 3 months, sometimes you're there for 6 months, sometimes you can extend and things of that nature, as long as your, unit doesn't need you, because remember, the mission comes first. So now to the story time of the craziest drilling ceremony that I had was probably standing waiting for about 50 minutes for us to come in and present the colors, is what they're called. Presenting the flags, doing the dress right dress and things of that nature. And it was long, because once we line up into our formation and we are called to attention, you don't move. You don't move. So we were told that, like, oh, it's about to start. So we usually get into attention about 10-15 minutes before the event is about to start. But for some reason that day, it took at least 50 minutes. We were just standing at attention. Woo! Talk about, I just kept telling, don't let your knees lock. Don't let your, and girl, you carrying this flag too? Don't let your knees lock. And ooh, do not pass out, because that flag cannot touch the ground. And it's like when you tell your body something, you start feeling like, oh, I'm gonna pass out. Oh, my knees locking. Oh, I'm gonna pass out. Oh, I'm sweating. My palms are sweaty. My heart beating fast and heavy. And it's like, oh no. But lucky you girl did not pass out. I made it through, and it was cool, but it was scary, and I was nervous as heck. Now, my craziest story time for providing the military honors would be, we were at a national cemetery, and I don't know if the funeral home director, I don't know if he just was not paying attention or what, but when we march up, we get behind the hearse to feed the casket out of the hearse. And y'all, the casket was not closed all the way. Now, we didn't know it at first, because the flag was draped over the hearse, right? Oh, not over the hearse. The flag was draped over the casket. So, we marching, and I felt like I kind of heard, because I was at the lead position, I felt like I kind of heard this casket. Like, it sounded like it was, like it wasn't closed all the way, but I'm like, maybe this is in my mind, right? So we marching up, we put it down, and we began folding the flag. And once we folded, and oh my God, this casket is not closed all the way. So I'm looking at my partner like, you can't say anything. Once there's no talking. So I'm just like, my partner is not understanding, and we just, we're still folding the flag. We got 7 men. We folding it, and I'm just like, the wind is blowing, so now the casket is just slightly starting to open. I'm like, oh, I can't. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. We gotta hurry and get out of here. I can't. I cannot. I cannot. I cannot. I cannot. And all I'm thinking was, please don't let us have to refold this flag. So when you're folding the flag, once you get it, you pass it to the person that is going to do the check to make sure that there's no red showing, that it's folded correctly. If not, they're going to give it back to you and say refold, and you got to unfold it and pass it all the way down, and then y'all got to fold it again. And all I'm thinking is, oh my goodness, if we got to refold this flag, I'm going to have to somebody going to have to come close this casket, because we're getting distracted, because now we all have realized this casket is not closed. And oh, this wind is picking up. And what do we do? Because I don't know how does a casket close regular? If I press down on it, why is it closed? I don't want to like press down and like, what if they arm or something? What if, I just don't know. So luckily we did not have to refold, but it was spooky, okay? It was, whew. I was just like, oh my gosh. I cannot. Second, I wouldn't say this is a crazy story time, but it was one that always stuck out to me. It was an individual who actually served in the Army Air Guard, I believe that's what it was called, before the Army and Air Force. Before the Air Force became the Air Force, the Air Force was a part of the. They were one thing, right? Way back in the day, okay? And so this man had obviously lived a full life, and I think he was like 97, and his wife was maybe like 92. And I remember his wife was there. Obviously wasn't a lot of people, very quiet day. And I just remember from the time that as we arrived before the hearse gets there, and we're at, attention saluting as the hearse is pulling up. And when we walked up to get the casket and started feeding the casket out, she cried. I mean, she wailed from that moment until we were done until we left, right? Until after taps was done and we left. And I just remember the hearing the pain in her voice of, how do I go on? How am I supposed to live without him? I think they had been together 50 years, Like, I just remember my heart breaking and like wanting to cry as well, but I can't cry. And I want to make sure that we present these honors to the best of our ability. Obviously, we did that every time, but it's just that time was so like I got chills. I still get chills thinking about it, because it's like, I can't go on. There's no way I'm gonna be able to go on. She's lived such a long life, and he lived such a long life, and all that, her person was gone, and it was heartbreaking. But every day of doing the funerals really helped me to gain more gratitude for life. Because no man knows the day or the hour, correct? None of us know how long we have on this earth. And you know, the honors that we provided range from, you know, veterans who were maybe in their 30s to, you know, veterans or retirees that were in their, obviously, their 90s. And no time was the same story. And you know, seeing individuals gathered to pay their homage and their tribute to their loved ones was just, it was always emotional. And so it was always important that after we were, you know, away from the premises and we did our debriefing of like, you know, um, what do we do good? Is anything that needed a hot wash is what we called it. What do we do good? What do we do bad? Anything we need to improve on? Anything, you know, anybody need to work on anything? After that, it was important for us to do things that decompressed us, because there would be days where we're doing 6, 7 funerals a day, or days where we're having to travel 2 hours to do funerals. And then we also have to travel back. So it was just very important for us to be able to really decompress, really make sure that we are a team and that we are working together and that we're looking out for each other and that we're not getting burnt out or having compassion fatigue. To always remember that at the end of the day, we're providing honors for funerals and honor or drill and colors for events. So always making sure that we had our A game going on, but really also that we are decompressing and that we are not taking this stuff home because it can be overwhelming. So if you have the opportunity to volunteer or you are selected to do base honor guard, I say go for it. It's definitely a time that I have no regrets. Not one at all. It was an honor to be able to do it, and I'm glad that I got to do that while I was on active duty. So if you get the opportunity, I hope that you too will choose to go for it. And I hope that you found this video helpful. And if you did, be sure to thumbs up. Trying to think, is there anything else? My top 3 things that I loved about doing honor guard would definitely be, 1, being able to pay tribute, honor, and homage to those who have gone before me, who wore this uniform, you know, before I wore the uniform. 2, it was definitely it was a space where I had to be flexible, and I enjoy flexible schedules. You didn't know your guaranteed schedule until like the afternoon prior to the next day. So there was never like, you know, monotony and you're doing the same exact thing. And third, I really did enjoy the training because it was being able to go from not knowing anything to by the end of training, knowing, you know, how to fold a flag, how to present honors. What do you say when you're presenting the flag to the next of kin? Being able to become a guardsman, that was something that I enjoyed as well. And so yes, I hope that y'all enjoyed this video. Be sure to thumbs up. And again, if you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Okay, and I will see y'all in the next video. Until next time, peace, love, and blessings.